It's that time of year where we ask ourselves about our Halloween plans. What pop culture reference we might dress as, how much chocolate we can eat during a workday, but most importantly, we ask ourselves, what's Halloween without Halloween? Yes, it's time to go deep on a film that set a gold, fine, let's say red standard for everything we want in a slasher film. Get ready to run in terror, because we're about to tell you all you didn't know about the classic horror masterpiece that is John Carpenter's Halloween. First of all, what we now know as Halloween was almost called The Babysitter Murders, which kind of makes sense because, you know, that whole thing about the older sister who's supposed to be watching a trick-or-treater after curfew, but gets it on with her boyfriend instead, ends up stabbed to death by a homicidal kid in a clown costume. Yeah, any horror fan who hears that creepy music knows it means a masked psychopath with a huge knife is watching, and whoever he's stalking could end up like this in the next couple hours. It turns out that unmistakable score didn't take months and months in a recording studio. Carpenter, who was inspired by the music of The Exorcist and Suspiria, composed and recorded it in just 2 weeks. He kind of had to after he screened the movie for a 20th Century Fox executive who wasn't scared at all. How is that even possible? The only thing he could do was, as he said, save it with the music. Tell me, you don't get goosebumps whenever you hear that. If you really watch and listen, you'll notice the music comes on and that Michael Myers body count is about to go up whenever you see a jack-o'-lantern, which probably just ruined your pumpkin carving party.
Gonna get you, gonna get you, gonna get you.
Sorry about that. You might have a creeping feeling you felt this kind of suspense before. Carpenter was obsessed with Alfred Hitchcock, so it should be no surprise that you'll find Hitchcock's influence lurking everywhere in this movie, particularly in the names of his characters. You know that psychiatrist who's after Michael Myers, Sam Loomis? That name is a deja vu from Psycho. Sam Loomis was Marion Crane's boyfriend. Marion Crane was actually Janet Leigh, who was, in real life, yes, Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. Oh, and you know that little boy Laurie babysits, Tommy Doyle? Maybe you remember that name from the cop in Rear Window. Sheriff Lee Brackett was named after screenwriter Lee Brackett, who wrote The Empire Strikes Back. So, there you are thinking, what about Michael Myers? That was the British film distributor who got the previous Carpenter movie, Assault on Precinct 13, out there. Speaking of babysitters who don't exactly babysit,
My parents are gone.
Oh, that's fabulous. When did they leave?
About a half hour ago.
Oh, utterly fantastic.
it was Halloween that set off the have sex and die theme that's become the norm for movies like this. An idea that would keep haunting us in movies like Scream. John Carpenter swore it was totally unintentional, that only a bookworm who couldn't get a date got out alive. Laurie Strode became such an iconic final girl that she pretty much immortalized one of Carpenter's exes, which he borrowed the name from. It's kind of awkward. Also, that song playing in that scene,
He's watching me. Mr. Riddle was watching you, Lori. Mr. Riddle is 87.
You can still watch.
Don't Fear the Reaper. John Carpenter definitely made Halloween at the wrong time of year. It's kind of hard to shoot a movie you want to take place in October and make it believable when everything outside is so green. So, what was the cheapest and easiest solution to all of that? Bags of dead leaves that got thrown around everywhere, which still isn't so convincing when it looks like spring outside. Carpenter even wanted to give the trees a makeover, but it just wasn't in the budget. Sorry, girl. At least one thing about the set was totally authentic. What came to be known as the Myers house really was abandoned and decrepit, so the cast and crew spent an entire day cleaning the place up, but not too much because, you know, the whole scary movie atmosphere. Any special effects in Halloween were simple camera tricks. You know that scene when Laurie tumbles down the stairs? That was really John Carpenter throwing his camera down, so Jamie Lee Curtis really only sat at the bottom of the stairs looking all disheveled. The camera was on a bungee cord, so it didn't suffer any broken bones. Good thing. Those are expensive. And Michael Myers' iconic mask wasn't made for Michael Myers. Yeah, so if you want an idea of exactly how low budget this film was, production designer Tommy Lee Wallace just went to a party store, picked up a Captain Kirk mask, which looked absolutely nothing like William Shatner, stretched it out, got rid of the brows and sideburns, and spray painted it white. Of course, now you can't go into Party City around this time of year without seeing at least 5 versions of a Michael Myers mask. How many William Shatner masks, though? The costumes weren't from Party City, but close enough. Jamie Lee Curtis got all of hers at JCPenney. Some things ended up turning into special effects without anyone even trying. John Carpenter happened to be smoking way too close to the scene where Laurie suspects someone creeping around the hedge, so they just let that pass for a fog machine. Actually, it looks kind of cool. If you've ever wanted to go to Haddonfield, don't pack your bags for Illinois. Haddonfield is actually the sleepy New Jersey suburb where writer Deborah Hill grew up. She wanted to set it in a town that only looked safe, so it would be all the more shocking when babysitters started getting murdered after dark. No masked serial killers have been seen stalking people in the real Haddonfield, at least as far as I know. And I'm from Jersey, so I would. Halloween was shot on a $320,000 budget, of which John Carpenter only got 10 grand. What started off as little more than a camera, a rubber mask, a massive amount of dry leaves, and a couple of pumpkins sacrificed for the movie ended up being an unexpected box office smash. You'd think a movie about Halloween that was released on October 25th and ran mostly after Halloween was gonna be doomed, right? Wrong. That thing just kept going and grossed $47 million in theaters, spawned 11 sequels, and an endless parade of slasher movies that tried to make up for the atmospheric chill of the original with gallons of fake blood. Even Rob Zombie thinks Halloween is the most powerful horror movie to come after Psycho, and he should know. He remade it himself.
I thought that there's really 2 movies I could have made.
If it's coming from Rob Zombie, that's legit. One more thing. Did you catch the movie Tommy was watching while the whole bloodbath was going down? It was The Thing, which Carpenter would go on to remake in 1982. Scary. Is what you didn't know about Halloween going to give you nightmares? Have you seen the new one yet? Do you collect Michael Myers masks? That would be weird. Also, have you sat down with friends to watch it lately? And if not, why not? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.